So when Biharis are so ahead, why my state is left so behind? Economic growth of my state came to a standstill. People of my state were forced to migrate and leave my state. We can never ignore what happened in 90s, the whole Jungle Raj regime, the whole Jungle Raj era. Biharis are very well informed about the political setup of the state and the country. So politically, they are very aware. So eventually they would not want to waste their vote. मैं नहीं मानता कि राजनीति में कोई दोस्ताना संघर्ष होता है. So I do have my own MY समीकरण, wherein my M it is the Mahila and my Y represents the youth of my state.
Thanks very much for joining us. We've been traveling around all the villages and talking to people, and this is not our first visit, many visits. And one of the key things that comes across, what people say, and I tend to agree with at least the first part, the people of Bihar are the best, but the politicians of the Bihar are the worst, and they've let down this country, this state terribly. You're the lowest in per capita income of any state, large state in this country. That is shocking with such talented, high IQ people.
That's right. And we need to understand the reason why this really happened. I genuinely believe that the kind of potential my state had has not been explored to the fullest. Yeah. I do agree to the first half myself. That the people of Bihar, with one of the highest IQ levels, and you'll find them there everywhere. They are there in media houses at the biggest, at the highest post. They are there in business houses. Needless to say, maximum numbers of IS officers, they come from Bihar. So when Biharis are so ahead, why my state is left so behind? That is the question repeatedly we must ask. Of course, the leadership of the state definitely is responsible, but that is one of the reasons why the state has not developed the way the rest of the states in our country post-independence have developed. I also believe that one of the biggest reason is the different government in a federal structure. My state, the irony was that there was a point in time that on a stretch for almost 27 years non-stop, we had a different government at the state level, at the center level, and a different government at the state level. Today, when my Prime Minister talks about the double engine ki sarkar, I do understand what he really means, because we are looking at it.
I'll tell you why. There are many states like that. There are many states like that have a different at the center and a different at the state. Of course, I do. And they do so well. I do. It's your fluidity of your politician back and forth, self-centered.
Sir, the way it is shaping up these days, look at Bengal, what's happening. The chief minister there doesn't agree to any of the schemes that has been started by the central government. No, sir, I don't really agree to that when you say that. But then, I do, this is my point of view, that if in our federal structure, if both the governments are at the same page, the working gets easier. In 2000s, we have seen that at the central level, till the time we had the UPA government, in my state, there was NDA government. As soon as there was an NDA government at the central level, we had a Mahagathbandhan government.
Fastest growing states are in the south, and they all are different to the center. Fastest growing states.
Sir, because they themselves, they have a strong economic base, which my state could never develop, because, and also one of the reasons, so this is one of the reasons, and also we can never ignore what happened in 90s, the whole Jungle Raj regime, the whole Jungle Raj era that we talk about, on one side in 90s, under the leadership of that time Prime Minister Narasimha Rao ji, the markets were opening up and stuff, but at the same time, the benefits of the same were not utilized by the leaders of my state who were there in the power that time. So these are the multiple reasons responsible that why my state is still lagging behind. But then for the past but then for the past 1 year, sir, I do believe the kind of importance that my state has got from our Prime Minister, it's not a small thing that the Prime Minister has visited my state for almost 11, 12 times since the time he has become the Prime Minister for the third time. He was there a day before, he going to be coming a day after as well for campaigning and stuff. And the kind of financial benefits that he's giving to our state. So I think this is something, if well utilized, and which will be, because we have both the governments on the same page, will be very, very beneficial. So I do believe that next 5 years going to be very important for my state.
So you said you spoke about Jungle Raj just now.
Ma'am.
Every time the leaders come from Delhi or the leaders of the NDA, they always bring up this issue of this Jungle Raj. But on the ground, we find that amongst people of your generation and younger, there is no resonance of Lalu's Jungle Raj. It's because every time people speak about it from the stage that they know that there was something called Jungle Raj.
Right.
They look at the last 10, 15 years and say, what is the crime what about the crime that is happening now? And you yourself have said earlier this year that the crime rate in Bihar is
Yes, I've raised my concerns. Yeah. Yes. So rightly said, and I do agree with you, absolutely right when you say this. I do believe that I think I'm the last generation, who really understands what really happened in 90s, the whole Jungle Raj regime. Now, why it is important for us to amplify, as you yourself said, that the first-time voters or the younger generation, the generation after me, they don't really know, the one who were born after 2005, who have only seen current Chief Minister Nitish Kumar ji being the Chief Minister of our state. And of course, they do question, with the with technology coming in and stuff, when they scroll reels, they see that how Mumbai is doing, how Delhi is doing, and definitely they do question that why my state is not there. Is the reason why all the way more they need to know what that era was. Why my state was left behind was because of those 15 years, 1.5 decades of Laluji, Rabri ji, during their regime. The way economic growth of my state came to a standstill. People of my state were forced to migrate and leave my state. When we talk about migration, Palayan, it all started majorly during that era, during that regime. So all the way more important for the younger lot to know that from where the current Chief Minister has pulled up our state, that Khai, as we call it, it was so vast and so deep, to fill that and to get our state to a level where we can actually start thinking of development actually took a lot of time, and and this is how it was to be, because the way they left our state in those 90s to 2005 was worse.
चिराग, मेरा आपसे 2 सवाल है. एक, एनडीए को जब बहुमत आएगा, मुख्यमंत्री कौन होंगे? क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री और अमित शाह जी ने तो कहा है अभी तक, खासकर अमित शाह जी ने कहा है कि जो विधायक होंगे वो चुनेंगे. मेरा दूसरा सवाल है जो प्रणोय ने आपसे पूछा कि बिहार का, मैं आपको सारी रटी हुई बात मैं आपको बता देता हूँ कि बिहार में जो सबसे ज़्यादा डेवलपमेंट के प्रोजेक्ट्स आए 98 टू 2004, 96 टू 2004, 98 टू 2004 जब राबड़ी देवी की सरकार थी, एनडीए की सरकार केंद्र में थी. 2004 टू 2009 जो मेगा प्रोजेक्ट्स आए, जब आपके पिताजी और लालू जी रेल मंत्री थे, और उसी समय हमने देखा कि बिहार में, जैसे बिहार एक सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी मांगता था, यूपीए की सरकार ने 2 दिया और नीतीश जी का एक अच्छा रहा. लेकिन वही नीतीश जी जब मोदी जी के साथ आते हैं, वो बार बार विनती करते हैं कि आप पटना यूनिवर्सिटी को सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी बना दो. प्रधानमंत्री रिजेक्ट कर देते हैं. आप मुझे बताइए कि जब डबल इंजन की सरकार रही है तो एक मेगा फैक्ट्री, जैसे कि आपके पिताजी और लालू जी ने अपने समय में रेलवे की एक से एक फैक्ट्री लाई. आप राजगीर का ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्री देखिए, आप मढ़ौरा, मधेपुरा, सारी फैक्ट्री देखिए. तो जो प्रणय बोल रहे हैं, मैं उसी को थोड़ा सप्लीमेंट कर रहा हूँ कि जब डबल इंजन की सरकार नहीं रही है तब बिहार में ज़्यादा प्रोजेक्ट्स आए हैं.
आंसरिंग आपके पहले सवाल का जवाब देते हुए, क्योंकि ये निरंतरता में इस क्वेश्चन को एम्पलीफाई किया जा रहा है, कौन होंगे मुख्यमंत्री. मैं वंस एंड फॉर ऑल, मैं इसको फिर एक बार मैं क्लियर कर देता हूँ. मौजूदा मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश कुमार जी के नेतृत्व में चुनाव लड़ा जा रहा है. लेट मी कंप्लीट ऑन दिस. एक बार फिर से चुनाव परिणामों के बाद मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश कुमार जी ही मुख्यमंत्री बनेंगे, ये मेरा विश्वास है। मैं मानता हूं क्योंकि मैं गठबंधन का एक अहम सहयोगी हूं। जिस बात को लेके इसका विवाद शुरू हुआ, क्विकली आई विल आंसर दैट ऑल्सो। जब केंद्रीय गृह मंत्री ने इस बात का जिक्र किया कि विधायक बाद में चुनेंगे, एक सामान्य प्रक्रिया का ये हिस्सा है, बिकॉज दिस इज हाउ इट हैज़ बीन हैपनिंग। बट छूटते ही फिर काउंटर क्वेश्चन किया जाता है कि मध्य प्रदेश में तो आपने ऐसा नहीं किया, राजस्थान में तो आपने ऐसा नहीं किया। वहाँ पे भाजपा के विधायक थे, भाजपा को चुनना था, वो डिसीजन अपने बिहाफ पे ले सकते थे। हेयर दे कांट टेक अ कॉल ऑन आवर बिहाफ। वो अपने विधायकों के बारे में कह सकते हैं, मैं अपने विधायकों के बारे में कह सकता हूँ। ये 5 दलों का गठबंधन है, तो ये स्वाभाविक प्रक्रिया का हिस्सा है कि उसके बाद विधायक अपने अपने दल के बैठेंगे, वो अपने दल का नेता चुनेंगे और वो नेता इवेंचुअली मुख्यमंत्री को चुनेंगे। मैं ये मानता हूं कि एक बार फिर से मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश कुमार जी को ही दोबारा मुख्यमंत्री चुना जाएगा। नाउ कमिंग बैक टू द सेकेंड हाफ ऑफ योर क्वेश्चन, जहां पे आपने पूछा कि जब डबल इंजन की सरकार नहीं थी उस वक्त ज्यादा परियोजनाओं को यहाँ पर लेकर आए, उन परियोजनाओं का इवेंचुअली क्या हर्ष हुआ और किस तरीके से उन परियोजनाओं को लेकर विवाद पे विवाद खड़े हुए, जिस सोच के साथ उन परियोजनाओं को लाया गया था, ना वो उस लेवल तक गई, ना उनको वो सफलता मिल पाई। अनटिल अनलेस एक दो को अगर आप छोड़ दें, मैं यकीन में मानूंगा कि उसमें मेरे नेता, मेरे पिता आदरणीय रामविलास पासवान जी शामिल थे, रेल मंत्री के तौर पे जो उनकी भूमिका थी। अगर ये एक दो ऐसे उदाहरणों को छोड़ दें जहां पे नेता विशेष ने अपने व्यक्तिगत प्रभाव और प्रयास से उन चीज़ों को वो उन्होंने लेकर आने का कार्य किया। बट अगर आप गवर्नमेंट्स की बात करें, इंटर मिनिस्ट्रियल जिस तरीके से संवाद होने चाहिए, वो संवादहीनता उस वक्त भी दिखी। अगर ऐसा नहीं होता तो उस वक्त के आंकड़े कतई ये नहीं दर्शाते कि पलायन में इतनी वृद्धि उन दिनों हुई है, जो कि होती ही गई है उसके बाद से। अगर ये सारी बातें सही में धरातल पे उतरी होती, इम्प्लीमेंटेशन इनका हुआ होता, उन टारगेट्स को हम लोगों ने अचीव किया होता जिस टारगेट को मद्देनजर रखते हुए इन योजनाओं को लाया गया था, तो शायद ये हर्ष मेरे राज्य का नहीं होता और आज दूसरे राज्यों में आपको बिहारी इतनी भारी संख्या में नहीं देखने को मिलता।
My question to you is on, everybody's been talking about the infighting in the Mahagathbandhan, but both the BJP and Nitish's party have in the last couple of days expelled a number of people. So is there a lot of infighting that is taking place and friendly fights that are going to take place even within the NDA camp? And are people that you have not given tickets to from your own side likely to stand against your own candidates?
Well, I think this is again one of a normal process, when you are the part of a coalition government, For me, yes, it was extremely difficult this time because unlike last time, I was contesting on a limited number of seats being the part of the alliance. Last time I had absolute freedom when I was contesting all by myself. So whomsoever I wanted to project as a candidate, I could have easily fielded him to fight the election. But then unlike last time, this time it was difficult for me also, and I do understand the same scenario for the rest of the ally partners, and not only in my allies, even in Mahagathbandhan also, because there are so many, people wanting to contest from a particular seat. Of course, there's a leadership of Bharatiya Janata Party, who would want to contest from a particular Vidhan Sabha. A member from Janata Dal United, a member from my party, a member from Ajiji's party, a member from... So, of course, there are these workers of the party, who want to contest. But then eventually, when the seat goes to any other ally partner, so at times they do become rebel. Me, my party, and also I've seen Bharatiya Janata Party doing really well in this. I saw a Home Minister camping here in the state for almost 3 days when all this happened, when the negotiations were announced. He was camping here for almost 3 days, and he actually reached out to everyone, including Mukhyas. He reached out to them to make sure that there's nothing called rebel. I also tried to do the same. But then, of course, you can't pacify everyone. And I do understand their anger, because for the past 5 years, they were trying hard to become the candidate of the alliance, and when they don't get this opportunity, so that anger is there. I do understand and respect that also. But then But then these are the limitations when you contest under an alliance.
So does that explain why Bihar has, I mean, since you have two big parties or alliances, but there's a very large percentage of other votes, 22% in elections. Is it rebel candidates mainly?
No, so it's not, it's not only rebel candidates. Yes, there are these smaller alliances, like last year, I myself took away almost around 6% of vote share, So there are other smaller alliances also, who takes away this share. But then eventually, this comes from my experience also, because last time I contested alone myself. This comes from my personal experience that eventually, right before the polling, the election becomes bipolar. Biharis are very well informed about the political setup of the state and the country. So politically, they are very aware. So eventually they would not want to waste their vote. So, this I also realized during my last election that all my candidates, most of my candidates, they were very confident that, we're going to be performing really well. But then right a day before or a night before the polling, the whole scenario changed, because these floating voters eventually they go and vote for the candidate that will make a difference, and it gets bipolar only. So they'll not want to vote to somebody where their vote might get wasted. So I don't think it will be a matter of concern, this percentage. Eventually, either Mahagathbandhan or NDA will get the maximum share vote percentage.
We've been traveling around, and one of the key things that comes up from students, from men, from some women also, is this prohibition has gone wild. People are getting drugs in terms of powder and tablets. Booze is delivered to your door. A lot of it is adulterated. Alcohol prohibition has been proven historically to be a total failure everywhere in the world, and you've introduced it. And what's worse, you want foreign investment here. If they know the state's alcohol free, you're not going to get investors. So not only is it dangerous in terms of poisonous through an illegal market, but also prevents investment. Are you going to carry on with this?
Well, eventually the new government, which will be formed after the 14th of November, will take a final call on this. Of course, various parties, they have different views when it comes to this.
What's your view?
Well, I support the whole idea behind this, If I remember correctly, I think this was introduced in 2016 and 16, I think, yeah. And that time I was in opposition, in the sense that I was the part of NDA Alliance, and Chief Minister was in Mahagathbandhan. He was with Rashtriya Janata Dal, and that was the time this was announced. So theoretically, I was very impressed with the idea. But I do also believe that, such idea needs to be promoted in sense of educating people, telling them the right and the wrong, the pros and the cons of the whole concept. If you just come out with a very stringent, a very strict law, and you think that the law will control it all, I don't really think that happens.
You failed.
Of course, there are examples, where we have also come to know about incidents where, it's been imported from all the boundary states, and also, illegal, bringing liquor in the state, and also manufacturing of it illegally, those poisonous, things being involved in that. So, of course, we do have examples like this, which really...
What do you feel? Should it carry on or should it be stopped?
Well, either or out. Of course, we can have a middle way also. But then, yes, this is something which is a matter of concern for me and my party. And I know this for sure, that eventually, when I'll for once be the part of the policy making, because till now my government just been supporting the government. Unlike at the central level, we've never been the part of state, except for a few months in between when my chacha was minister here. So yes, we'll bring this up, and of course the party will put forward our concerns and our views and our suggestions concerning this.
So you're against it?
I won't say it black and white. I agree to the idea of it, but then implementation might need a little revision, yeah.
You've said that Nitish Kumar is going to be the chief minister. You also said that the people of Bihar are politically very savvy. If in the next 2 or 3 days, Amit Shahji and the PM do not announce the fact that Nitish Kumar will be the chief minister if the NDA comes to power, do you think it will impact the voting on the ground? Because Nitish Kumar has huge respect and love amongst the people of Bihar.
I don't think we need to put it out in so many words. You know, we've been saying this out and loud. We are contesting the election under his leadership. You know, I mean, I do understand when Home Minister says, because he's sitting at one of the topmost constitutional posts of our country, so he needs to be very correct when he uses his words, and especially, you know, when you are dealing with a coalition government, you know, where there are allies involved and stuff. You know, had it just been one party, he could have easily taken that decision and announced it, you know, when there are multiple parties involved in this. But then I think the message is well conveyed to the people of Bihar that eventually, last time is one of the biggest examples, you know, when comparatively Chief Minister's party gained less number of seats. Still, he was made the Chief Minister because that was the promise that was made to him.
But it has not been made clear. They have not said it in so many words. And that is what the people are waiting for.
But I don't really think that you need to put it out in so many words. People of Bihar knows and understand. And we all are there to time and again amplify it as many times as the opposition wants to hear.
लेकिन चिराग, मेरा शिखा ने जो पूछा उसी से रिलेटेड सवाल है. मेरा ये कहना है कि 2020 का आपने रेफरेंस पॉइंट दिया, लेकिन 2020 के जो नीतीश कुमार थे वो एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में बैठ के 20 सवालों का जवाब देते हैं, और आज के नीतीश कुमार 2 सालों से मीडिया के सामने रूबरू हुए ही नहीं. और आज आपके अलायंस की ये सबसे बड़ी आयरनी भी है कि आप जिनको कह रहे हैं कि यही मुख्यमंत्री रहेंगे, वो मीडिया के सामने 2 सवाल का भी जवाब देने के लिए उनकी स्थिति नहीं है. उनका जो कंडीशन है आप हमसे बेहतर जानते हैं. आपको लगता नहीं कि आप लोग
बिहार से बेहतर नहीं जानता हूं. नहीं, मैं इतना जरूर जानता हूं कि जो परसेप्शन बनाया जा रहा है वो गलत है. आप प्लीज
नहीं, हाँ, मुझे आपको लगता नहीं कि आप लोग बिहार के लोगों के प्रति थोड़े अनफेयर हैं ये वोट बैंक की पॉलिटिक्स के चक्कर में, कि एक आदमी जो फिजिकली फिट नहीं है उसी को आप कह रहे हैं कि नहीं ये हमारे दुल्हा, हम उनके बाराती रहेंगे, दुल्हा वही रहेंगे. दूसरा मेरा एक सवाल है कि 25 से 30 फिर से नीतीश, इसको आप इंडोर्स कर रहे हैं?
क्योंकि ये आपने गंभीर सवाल पूछा है, इसको उतनी गंभीरता से जवाब देना ज़रूरी है, बिकॉज ये एक परसेप्शन बनाने का प्रयास इतने स्ट्रांगली किया जा रहा है और ये नैरेटिव बिल्ड करने की कोशिश की जा रही है कि मुख्यमंत्री जी के हेल्थ कंसर्न्स हैं, उनके स्वास्थ्य को लेकर, उनकी शारीरिक मानसिक परिस्थितियों को लेकर, ये गाहे बगाहे कई बार इसको एम्पलीफाई किया गया है. एक ऐसे मुख्यमंत्री जिन्होंने समय रहते पूरे कोलिशन को डिज़ाइन कर दिया, डेकोरेट कर दिया. ना सिर्फ हम लोगों ने सीट का बंटवारा कर लिया, सीट का चयन कर लिया, प्रत्याशी उतार दिए, बल्कि उन्होंने चुनाव प्रचार भी शुरू कर दिया था. वहीं दूसरी तरफ एक ऐसा गठबंधन जो अपने घटक दलों के का ही समावेश नहीं कर पाया. तो ऐसे में मेंटली कौन ज़्यादा स्ट्रांग है? ये मुख्यमंत्री ज़्यादा स्ट्रांग है जो कि चुनाव प्रचार में भी उतर गए, जब तक ये लोग एसी कमरे में बैठे अभी तक सीटों का बंटवारा ही कर रहे थे, एंड देन इवेंचुअली दे हैड टू कम आउट विद एन आइडिया ऑफ फ्रेंडली फाइट. मैं नहीं मानता कि राजनीति में कोई दोस्ताना संघर्ष होता है. देयर इज नथिंग कॉल्ड एज फ्रेंडली फाइट. आइदर यू आर फ्रेंड्स और यू आर फाइटिंग विद ईच अदर. और उसके रेपरकशंस आपको दूसरी, उदाहरण के तौर पे एक जिले में मान लीजिए कि 6 विधानसभा हैं और आप एक विधानसभा में कांग्रेस और राजद एक दूसरे के खिलाफ लड़ रही है. मैं तो उस जिला अध्यक्ष की भूमिका को समझना चाहूँगा कि एक जगह जाके दूसरे दल के नेता को गाली देगा और 5 जगह जाके वहीं पे उनका समर्थन मांगेगा. नहीं होता है ऐसा. तो ऐसे में ये ज़्यादा मेंटली स्ट्रांग स्थिति को दर्शाता है जिसमें मुख्यमंत्री जी ने इतने एमिकेबली पूरे अलायंस को उन्होंने डिज़ाइन कर दिया और प्रचार में भी उतर गए. और वहीं दूसरी तरफ महागठबंधन नहीं कर पाया, तो कमज़ोर कड़ी तो उनके भीतर है ना कि हमारे यहाँ.
चिराग पासवान ने मुख्यमंत्री बनने के अपने सपने, अपने लक्ष्य को क्या गिव अप कर दिया है, या मुख्यमंत्री चिराग पासवान अभी भी बनना चाहते हैं, और बनना कब होगा उनका?
आई लाइक द वे यू टुक इट फॉर ग्रांटेड. मेरा ये लक्ष्य है, मेरा ये सपना है. खैर, आई विल नॉट शाय अवे फ्रॉम द फैक्ट, बिकॉज मैं भी जब बिहार फर्स्ट, बिहारी फर्स्ट की बात करता हूँ, सो अंटिल अनलेस मैं अपने आप को पूरी तरीके से बिहार में केंद्रित नहीं देखूंगा. एंड बीइंग द 3rd टाइम मेंबर पार्लियामेंट, आई डू अंडरस्टैंड एंड एग्री दैट सेंटर में रह के यू हैव योर लिमिटेशंस, यू नो, अंटिल अनलेस आप बिहार नहीं आओगे. और मैं इसी चुनाव में आना चाहता था, यू नो दिस वेरी वेल योरसेल्फ पर्सनली, मैं आना चाहता था, बट नेगोशिएशंस इतने डिले हुए कि ये नहीं हो पाया. बट हाँ, आज की तारीख में, बिकॉज आई बिलीव लॉट इन मेडिटेशन ऑल्सो, इस मोमेंट पे ध्यान केंद्रित करना ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. भविष्य के घर में क्या है क्या नहीं, वील क्रॉस द ब्रिज व्हेन इट कम्स. बट देन आज की तारीख में जब हम लोग विधानसभा चुनाव प्रचार 2025 का हम जिक्र कर रहे हैं, तो इस लम्हे में अपने आप को केंद्रित करते हुए ना सीएम की कोई वैकेंसी है, ना मेरी कोई दावेदारी है. एक अलाय के तौर पे मेरी अहम भूमिका है जिसको मैं निभाने का प्रयास कर रहा हूँ.
You've given 20% of your seats to women or candidates, 6 of them.
या 6 of them.
So, and the alliance is focused a lot on giving money and other gifts to women. Is women the focus of your campaign as a alliance, and do you see that as something that will take you over the top?
So yes, of course, women being representing the half of the population, not only of my country but of the globe. So of course that representation is much needed. And also when I talk about my Samikaran, when I talk about the kind of combination that I see for myself going ahead in Bihar politics is of my MY Samikaran, you know. The MY Samikaran of other party, Rashtriya Janata Dal, we have seen, and that really surprises me that a young leader, someone like leader of opposition in Bihar Vidhan Sabha, my younger brother Tejasvi, you know, when he still talks about the conservative style of politics, you know, talking about MY Samikaran, where M represents out and out communalism, where Y represents out and out casteism, you know. So I do have my own MY Samikaran, where in my M it is the Mahila and my Y represents the youth of my state. Beyond the caste line, fading away all the barriers of caste, communalism, everything, I want all the youngsters of my state to unite with me for the idea of Bihar First, Bihari First. The women of my state unite with me for the idea of Bihar First, Bihari First. So this is my MY Samikaran. Even in Lok Sabha, you know, when I was contesting on a very limited number of seats, hardly 5 seats, I was contesting. But I'm really happy and I feel very proud that out of those 5 seats, 2 were given to women candidates and 4 of them were youngsters. So my MY Samikaran stays intact. And that's how I see myself moving ahead.
What do you think of Prashant Kishore and his impact this time?
So yes, I mean, he is trying hard to make an impact. And again, I mean, though I have not focused a lot on his working style, but then again, because I see myself in a similar situation 5 years back, you know, when I was contesting alone. And I used to have these huge gatherings and these, you know, massive cheering crowd in my road shows and stuff. Manish Bhai has witnessed all this then also. So yes, I was also very confident that, you know, I'll be performing way better than what I did. I just got 1 seat and eventually that person also left my party. So I was expecting myself to perform way better than what I did. Again, now going back to the answer that I gave, that eventually the election becomes bipolar because Bihari, they are so well aware that they would not want to waste their vote. So I see Prashantji at the same platform, you know, where he might be getting a lot of cheering and a lot of crowd building up and stuff. But then eventually when votes will be polled, it will be either for the Mahagathbandhan or for NDA. And it will be a matter of vote percentage fight for him. Maybe a couple of seats here and there he might manage, but then the fight will be to get a better vote share in terms of percentage. Nothing more than that.
If you need the numbers, then would you be agreeable to have an alliance with him if he does well?
I don't think because his style of working and his concept is way different to what ours is in terms of NDA. So I really don't think that.
If he stays in the game, if he continues to be here, in the future, do you see him as a formidable adversary?
Well, I mean, I like his idea in the sense that, again, you know, I really appreciate somebody who talks beyond caste lines. My state needs to come out of this. You know, we need to stop electing MPs and MLAs just because that he or she comes from my caste or my religion. So we have to break this barrier. And like me, he's again somebody, you know, who talks beyond all these caste and communal lines. He talks about actual development. He talks about education, which is extremely important for my state. So yes, what future holds, I'm not an astrologer to comment on that, but then can never say never in politics.
You sound as though you admire him so much that you have more in common ground with him than with the BJP and certainly with Nitish. So he's your hero.
No, of course not.
No, but you have more common ground with him.
No, it's just that you know, I really like, you know, people, unlike Rajat and unlike Tejasvi and all, you know, he still talks about casteism, communalism, you know, the conservative style of politics. So I really appreciate, and I think that this is the beauty of democracy of our country, that more the number of people, you have more choice to select or elect from. So I think it's better for the democracy of our country. Let the people decide eventually whom they want to see as a leader.
Is he likely to do what you did in 2020, which is cut into the NDA vote so much that they almost lost the election?
Well, I don't know whom he'll be cutting into, but then one thing I know for sure is that ours is a very strong combination in terms of vote percentage also. Five of us together, all five parties, it is a very strong combination. And what strengthens my belief is the kind of result that we saw during by-polls. You know, we had these by-polls on 4 seats, which were considered as what do you call that? Semi-final, yeah. So, which is always looked at semi-final. So, and we managed to had 100% strike rate. Then also all our 4 NDA candidates, they won the election. More importantly, we managed to win those seats also, which for the past 3.5 decades, we could never manage to win. Like Belaganj, for example, you know, for the past 34 years, that seat never came to NDA. We managed to win that seat. There was a seat of Tarari, you know, for past one plus decade. We could never win that seat. We managed to win that seat also. So I know this for sure that the alliance of these 5 parties together, like last time it was a very divided NDA. Still we managed to perform and come to a level where we formed the government, you know. Last time I was contesting separately. Upendra Kushwaha ji was contesting separately in other alliance. But this time we all are together and there's a kind of divided Mahagathbandhan, you know, with the concept of friendly fight. So in that scenario, still if we could manage to win and form the government. So today though, I think we are in a very comfortable position.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.